I'm titling this video, Over-the-Air TV is Dead. Now, I haven't seen anything on over-the-air TV that in the past number of years that I want to sit down and watch. I'm going to get to Gordon Ramsay here later in this video. I actually like the guy. I actually think he's probably a decent guy. I think he would have been better off either here on YouTube or maybe something on, of course, he may still get on YouTube because I think he'd be a perfect fit for YouTube or maybe PBS as a cooking show. You may want to do a revamp of the French Chef, a 21st century version of the French Chef. I'm going to get to some TV shows that I liked back in the 60s and some that I found kind of funny. But even the news is all propaganda. Anybody that's got more than 2 or 3 working brain cells can see that TV news is all propaganda. There's somebody somewhere in some smoke-filled office back somewhere writing the news copy. Now, if you search here on YouTube, it's here on or was. I haven't looked for it for a while. It's some Ting Wong. Now, it's a tragic event. I'm going to take us off, because people died in this event. It was a plane crash landing in San Francisco maybe 5-10 years ago. This lady is clearly reading off copy without understanding what she's reading. Now, search some Ting Wong. Now, like I said, it was meant as a joke. It was meant to be funny, but the event was not. But to listen to this lady read it off, obviously these names of Chinese pilots that somebody somewhere had just wrote copies for this lady was making a fool out of her. Like I said, but you watch that and you'll see what I'm talking about. But even the over-there TV, even the pay stuff, I can see people, with one of the various paid TV services, looking at themselves and or maybe to their spouse or something, say, "What the hell are we paying $100 a month for this crap?" Well, I'm just gonna quit subscribing to this. 50 to quote what was it that song? 57 channels and nothing on. Oh, I want to trying to think who sang that song. Was it Bruce Springsteen? I think it was Bruce Springsteen, but 57 channels and nothing on. He bought a satellite dish to get 57 channels and still nothing worth watching. But anyway, like I said, it's all here on YouTube. Now, there's a couple of TV shows that I was watching a video this morning on Family Affair. Now, that came out in the early 60s about this guy. His brother and sister-in-law were killed in a car wreck, and suddenly he had to take care of his three his brothers. There was 2 twins. They were 8 or 10, and a grown daughter. I think she was still in school, but anyway, he had to take care of them. It was actually a pretty decent show for the time, and I really enjoyed it as a kid. It went on till about 71. And then they canceled it. Now the youngest girl in real life, she got depressed. I guess she couldn't find acting jobs. She got depressed and got on drugs and actually died of a drug overdose when she turned 18. Now the boy, he had got on drugs. I guess same thing. I guess he couldn't get acting jobs and got on drugs. And his family had said he either straighten up or we're going to disown you. And I guess he did. And I guess he recovered. And today, he's, according to this video that I watched, I don't know him, but I said according to the video on the actress, he's currently today, a counselor, counseling people that have gone through, recovering from addiction. Now the lady that played Sissy, I don't know if she's still around or not. Of course, the ones that were adults in the show, they've just passed on, because the show was on 60 years ago, and they've just passed on, because they got old. Now another one is the Waltons. Now, even the lady that played Olivia Walton, the mother, she's like 90-some years old. She played a very cool role. The guy that played the dad and most of the adult actors are gone because that show was on in the early 70s. Really cool show at the time. Now, the little one that played little Elizabeth, real cute actress in the show. Now, she became a school teacher, and she was a principal. She may have retired. I'm pretty sure she's still alive. She was a principal of a school somewhere in California. She'd give up acting. Now, the oldest daughter, she played Mary Ellen Walton. Nancy something. I'm gonna look up her name, and she has a YouTube channel. She was Mary Ellen Walton on the Waltons, and she had another acting job on one of the TV, for many years. I think she's retired now. She was an actress on The Days of Our Lives. There was General Hospital, one of the, the daytime soap operas. She was an actress on there. And like I said, she's got a YouTube channel because I watched it. It was a real cool YouTube channel where she'd comment on her role as Mary Ellen Walton, and on the TV show, where she played another actress. Real cool show. Now I'm going to cover Hogan's Heroes. Now, to me, it was on when I was a kid. It was stupid. I never got it. I never got to the point of making, it was a comedy, about American and British POWs in a German POW camp. And I thought even as a kid, I thought the show was just stupid. Now there's, I watched one YouTube video where they asked some of the actors to do some much more serious roles, more that you would expect in a POW camp. And it was a guy that played Clank. Now Clank, he was actually German. It came over early, before war, broke out, become an American citizen. He's been dead. He's been dead for a number of years, but he did something, and the censors for CBS said, no, look, this was something. They said, look, that we got a lot of Jewish people that are watching this. They're not going to like it. They're not going to want this. So they just they didn't allow it to go in the final cut. And the guy that played Clank, he said, look, I'm Jewish. I think I'm got a right to do that, or something to that effect. And of course, it didn't go on the air. And another one of the guys, I think it was the guy that played LeBeau, that asked him to do, run some lines like from one of the concentration camps. I can't remember the role, but you can find these videos here on YouTube. And he looked, and he after he had read the script, he goes, look, I'm a survivor of one of the concentration camps. He'd actually lived through Auschwitz or Dachau. He'd actually survived, and he'd lost all his family. And he said, no, I will not read the script. The script is not going to go over with the audience. The script is just too painful for me to even perform this on TV. I won't do it. Of course, the censors accepted that. There was a number of other roles like that where, they were true, something that you would expect in a POW camp, and the actors either wouldn't do it, or the censors, just wouldn't allow it to be put in production, and they kept the show as a comedy. Like I said, again, I never understood. But even then, the show was back in the days when TV was cool. But I said, today it's all just crap. And I can see the day when over-the-air TV is just no more. You can turn your TV on and it's just static. There's no more over-the-air TV. Even the news has gone away. And I'm going to think that YouTube has got to probably hang around for a while. There's probably going to be a few platforms that are going to be close to YouTube. Maybe they'll take off. Maybe they'll go the way of the dodo bird and the dinosaurs. Who knows? I just think this YouTube thing is here for real. And if Gordon Ramsay's wants to do a cooking show here on YouTube, I really think it'd take off, because I think the guy's probably got talent. It's just that it doesn't quite fit over there at TV. And George Ramsay's can't produce enough bleeped out 4-letter words for it to make on over there TV, because it's just not a good fit. I said he could probably make a cooking show on PBS and be the 21st century version of the French Chef. Yeah, I liked the French Chef back in the day. She was did look cool, but cooking shows fit that platform. Let's see. I think I covered everything here. Back in the days when TV was cool, when I was a kid. Of course, I was a little bit more naive back in the 60s and 70s. Okay, love y'all. Bye bye.